Are you ready to make a change and you just keep putting it off? I'm pretty sure the last year of our lives have taught us all that maybe we shouldn't be putting off the things that we truly want to accomplish in life. That is what Architecting You is about. It's really about getting off our hump and putting it into a plan of action with a design that is truly aligned with who we are. I'm John Coplen, and you're watching Architecting You, how to design the life you want. It's a very simple concept on one level. Design of anything is imagination of something and bringing it into reality. What is it that I want to be? This entire channel is devoted to that, to architecting your life and to thinking about your life in a conceptual way that you maybe have never thought of before. And we're going to talk about really practical things, and we're going to talk about really conceptual things. But I'd like it to be a conversation, so I hope you all will like and subscribe, and I hope you'll stick around, leave comments, and be a part of the community, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And some people will be like, well, why you? What are you going to teach me? Okay, fair enough. Here's the thing. I have been where a lot of you are. In fact, I was in a terrible place last November. I was in a relationship that wasn't working for me. I was 20 pounds overweight. I felt like every piece of my job was a struggle. And I thought to myself, I wanted to do Architecting You, and I wanted to share this with the world for so many years. And so why not put it into practice? Why not put myself out there and step into this place of creativity that I have envisioned for myself? In fact, it has been on my image board, Architecting You. And it's interesting to me how the moment I started to focus on this goal and started to walk in this direction, how other things that I was doing didn't seem so difficult because I had a place to put something that had meaning for me. And that wasn't the first time in my life I found myself somewhere difficult. Truly, I went to architecture school. I worked as an architect for a good amount of 7 to 10 years. I knew in my very first internship, when I sat down and they stuck me behind a CAD program just at my computer, that I was like, this is never going to work for me. I felt like I was locked in a box, and I was like, this will never work. So I thought, well, maybe if I do my own firm, and I started my own firm with a friend of mine, and we do more of a residential scale, that'll work for me. And it did. It got me more social interaction, but it still was so much of that monotony of just sitting there designing details and just not really aligned with who I was. So eventually that didn't work. And I looked towards real estate. And then while selling real estate, I realized, wait a minute, there's an element of this that still doesn't really work for me, because I really do want to find a way to help others. And I'm not really helping others. I mean, I'm helping others find a house, but I'm not really helping them on any sort of deep level and meaningful way. I gave this talk, Architecting You, back in 2014 for the first time to an HR conference. It was sort of a total disaster. I was pretty young at the time, and I felt like really nervous to get up there and be in front of folks who were a lot older than me. I didn't have a lot of life experience, but honestly, the concept was there, and the idea of it was there, and I was already implementing it in my life. I just think explaining it to other people at the time was more difficult. Now's the time. I feel like we've just gone through this major pandemic. I feel like all of us are in a place where we're really rethinking what it is that we want to do and what our lives look like. So to me, this is the perfect time to architect people's lives. So this brings me to where I am today, which is ready to put myself out there and see if I can help others design their lives the way I have slowly designed my life. And what's important about all this process is something very simple. You never get it done and you never get it right. But the point is that we keep drawing up the plans, we keep making the efforts, and we keep designing the life that we want. And think about the world that we would live in if everybody was doing something they loved. I mean, with conviction, with heart, with bravery. They stepped into the world and did something they loved. People would be happier and more caring and more meaningful about everything that they did. Every engagement we had would bring greater meaning to everyone else's lives, it would be tremendously different. And I'm not saying that we can get away with doing zero of things that are put upon us, then some of the corporate worlds and some of the must-do things in our, we certainly can start moving in a direction that's more meaningful to us. And sure, not all of us can take a huge leap and go into something that's totally different than where we are and just not worry about money and not worry about reality. We can design a goal, understand our constraints, and we can move towards them. And once we're starting to move towards them, it's amazing how things start to unfold. And slowly, we will get ourselves there. And some of us faster than we had ever imagined. And that is pretty awesome. I want to end every episode with the power of I am. I am is the most powerful 2 words that you can assemble together. The problem is we powerfully assemble them against ourselves. It's like that Demi Lovato song, for God's sakes. I love you, I love me. What's that name of that song? Cause I'm a black belt when I'm beating up on myself. Oh my God, I'm a terrible singer. Voices in my head are my entourage. Cause I'm a black belt when I'm beating up on myself. I think that's right. And I think that's what a lot of us are. I do think that song is amazing, and the fact that like she really does just get right to the heart of it, which is that our only limitation is ourselves. And if we can learn to come from a place of imagination, from something that's much bigger than what we see right in front of us, then we have the power to design our lives to be something completely different than where we are. I believe it 100%. If you guys follow along, if there's something you want to achieve, if you want to think of yourself in a completely different way than you think of yourself now, then use this process. Come with us and architect you. In the end, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing or whatever path anyone else is on. And I know we get caught up comparing ourselves, but the truth is really simple, and that is we are the only ones that are going to make it happen. You have to make it happen for you. So I want you guys to like use that as a motto. Every time you need to crawl out of bed a little early to do something, every time you have to push a little harder, make it happen. I tell myself this when I don't want to go to the gym in the morning at 5:30. How do we go back to what we have already been? We've gone through an enormous pandemic, and a lot of people are saying it was the lost year. I actually think in the end it might be the year that people are born. We had an opportunity to disconnect ourselves from the rat race that we were running, from making every soccer game for our kids, for getting into our job on time, for keeping up with the neighbors. Every little piece of everything that we had to do that was put upon us was put on pause. I think it left a lot of room for people to think, is this really for me? And I think it's the time when people are gonna say, I'm not sure. And some of us will just go right back to sleep. We will just fall right back into that pattern and pretend like this never happened. And before we know it, we're gonna wake up 5 years later and say, I wish I would have done that thing. I wish I would have taken that shot. And that's what this is about. Architecting you is about taking the opportunity to intentionally design something into your life, to bring it into physical reality. That is what design is about. It's about bringing something from an idea into reality. We can do it with our lives just like we do it for cars, just like we do it for architecture, just like we do it for anything in this world. It's just that we don't take the time to do it for ourselves. And I think after everything that we've gone through in the last year, this is the perfect time to do it for ourselves. I did subject you guys to my singing in the very first episode, and to make it up to you, I did ask my friend Adam Roberts, who is much more talented than me, to sing a version of Demi Lovato, I Love Me. Adam is an amazing musician, Broadway actor, and writer out in New York City, and I will put his link to his Instagram
when I'm beating up on myself, but I'm an expert at giving love to somebody else. Me, myself, and I don't see eye to eye. Me, myself, and I. Oh, why do I compare myself to everyone? Always got my finger on the self-destruct. I wonder when I love me is enough. I wonder when I love me is enough. Why am I always looking for a ride or die? Cause mine's the only heart I'm gonna have for life.
Just to circle back on those I ams, the idea here is you give yourself 3 I ams that are aspirational to you. They can be anything, big goals, lofty goals, something that you really want to be. I'll give you a couple of mine. I am architecting you. I am a really devoted friend. I am financially independent. Those 3 things make me feel so much better than some of the stuff that I might say to myself. So I want you guys to say 3 and say them loud and really feel them. Do it every day, and I promise you it'll make you just feel a little bit better, a little bit open to your dreams.
Telling me who I'm supposed to be. Way too good at camouflage. Can't see what I am, I just see what I'm not. Cause I'm a black belt when I'm beating up on myself, but I'm an expert at giving love to somebody else. I, me, myself, and I don't see eye to eye. Me, myself, and I. Oh, why do I compare myself to everyone? Always got my finger on the self-destruct. I wonder when a love me is enough. I wonder when a love me is enough. Why am I always looking for a ride or die? Cause mine's the only heart I'm gonna have for life. For all the times I went and fucked it up, I wonder when a love is enough. Yeah, 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 yeah.